Quiet on set. Picture is up. All right, roll sound.
Rolling.
Roll cameras.
Cam's rolling.
And 3, 2.
All right, y'all ready?
On airplane mode.
All right. I'll be good in 5, 4, 3.
2-1, man.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Hank's Think Tank. Been a little while since we've been in here. I've been busy. I got a lot going on. Got Mark Hogan on my left.
Howdy, everybody.
What's going on, man?
Just another day in the hood.
Yeah, how's that car going?
Car's doing great.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problems?
I got here in about 15 minutes.
Man, all the way
Yeah.
from Katy.
Yeah.
We do like 230, 240.
Well, you got to keep it down below 230 because at 225 it has a little shake in the front.
A little bit of vibration.
But we did all right.
Yeah, need to have that looked at. All right, guys. Well, today I've got Kevin Martinez in, and he's a guy that's done a little bit of time in the Texas prison system, I think about 12 years. And so today we're going to talk about, what it's like to be in, what life is like, what the transition period's like coming out and reintegrating into society and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is not a scripted deal. We're just going to let it free flow and see how it goes. But welcome aboard, Kevin. How's it going, man?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yeah, good to see you.
I'm doing fine.
Well,
Glad to
cool.
be here.
Yeah,
It was
great.
a long ride for you, I know, and I appreciate you coming on out.
Yeah, appreciate that long drive, man. That's awesome. So 12 years, huh?
Yeah, 12 years.
Yeah. Did it seem like longer, or did it go by quick?
Oh, nah, it definitely seemed like longer.
Yeah.
That's over a decade.
Yeah, that's a long time, man.
So
How old were you when you went in?
I was about like 19, 20, like 20.
Wow.
Because, like, towards me signing, I got locked up and for a few months. And, I went to court and everything, and then I bonded out. And then I went back in for violating my bond. And then I went and did like 6 months and bonded out again throughout that case. So a year I was like in and out just fighting the case. And then I did when I finally signed for my time.
So it took a year just to adjudicate the case?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you want to tell us what happened? I mean, what happened to Kevin Martinez at 19 years old to do 12 years in the Texas State Pen, man?
Long time.
Well, I used to be in a gang. I used to be in a gang at that time. Well, at that time, I was already kind of starting to get away from it a little bit at a time.
Kind of hard to get out of a gang once you're in it, huh?
Yeah.
What was the name of the gang? Can you say?
I was in the SWC, Southwest Cholos.
Gotcha.
And
Cool.
I've been in it since I was about 13, 14 years
cool.
old. 13.
Mark was the president of a gang when we were in high school, the Sissies.
Don't listen to him at all. In fact, let's turn his mic off and we'll just have a conversation.
Yeah, so, I was involved in that at a young age, 13, 14 years old, and then that's what carried to that. But prior to that, I had did a little bit of time, nothing major, and that's when I had decided to start putting it to the side a little at a time.
So you had some juvenile cases before.
Yes, I had some juvenile cases, did a couple months, nothing big.
Now, was this a Houston gang or
Yes,
Cool.
it's a
Okay.
Houston gang.
Yeah.
And so, you kind of just can't get out.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of like just slowly transition out of it to where like nobody notices.
Yeah.
So I was in the process of that.
Probably kind of hard to do, ain't it?
Yeah, it's kind of hard because, they're calling you and, they want you to do stuff with them. And
There's
stuff
like a
that.
hierarchy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's
so
like the mafia or anything else,
Right. So you got to kind of like little by little turn into like a shadow where nobody even notices you and calls you anymore. Then one day they're going to be like, hey, what happened to that guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. He probably dead or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Start
But-
hanging by yourself and with your folks and all that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was I was in a situation where I went to some apartments where I was going to pick somebody up and we were going to go out. We're going to go out and have a good time, have some drinks and all of that. And when I went to these apartments, I end up running into a rival gang. You know what I mean?
Were you sporting colors or any other significant thing to show you were in a gang?
Well, no, I was dressed to go out to the club. I was
Okay.
dressed nice. I was, but I had just got this tattoo on the back of my head, and it was still kind of fresh, so you could it stands out. You could see it.
Yeah.
So it's my street gang, like the street.
Right.
So,
They saw that.
and when I happened to walk by, they seen it, but at the same time, one of them recognized me, I didn't know who they were, but they know who I was. So, and so everything started going down, and they had guns. I had a gun with
Well,
me.
how did it go down? I mean, they hollered some stuff at you, and you probably
Yeah.
hollered back at them. And
Yeah, well, at this time, I never carry a firearm or nothing like that. I'm trying to stay clean. I'm trying to, so, but that day I had a feeling, and I took it with me. You know what I mean? Which actually saved my life if I wouldn't have had it. So I ended up taking it with me, and it was like a little alley in the apartments. And when I went by, I ran into him. I passed him up, and when I looked, I said, "Man, it's something's gonna happen." So I just kept walking, like, okay, maybe I can just keep walking and get away with it. But the thing is, these apartments, it's a one way in, one way out. So I had to come back that way.
they knew you were coming back that way.
Yeah, they knew
too.
I was coming back. So I went down the park. It's like it's a parking lot where other cars are at. So I went by the trash can, by the dumpsters, and I used the restroom, right? And as I'm using the restroom, I'm thinking, because I got my gun, I got it on safety. It's not cocked back or nothing. And I had it in my pants. So I was like, should I be ready, or should I just walk back and nothing's going to happen? They're drinking. They're having a good time. You never know. So I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm just going to leave it alone. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to be okay. So I'm walking back with the gun in my pants.
Did you pick up your friend to go out on the town?
Well, I'm calling him, and he was on the way.
Okay.
So he wasn't even there. So I was going to pull up and just wait for him, right?
Right.
Because we're going to go in my car. So I had to park on the side of the street because I didn't have the code. You have to use a card. So that's why I had to come in through that little walkway,
Right.
one way in, one way out.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, when I'm walking back, I got the gun in my pants. I got the safety on it because at that time I'm scared of guns. So I had the safety on it and everything. I didn't want to just walk around with it cocked back, ready to go. So as I'm walking back, that's when everything happened. They started, hey, who are you? What's your name? But they already knew who I was. I like, you already know who I am, right? So one of them already had a gun. He had a 380. He had a gun already pulled out, but he didn't point it at me or nothing. He just had it pulled out.
Just making sure you saw it.
Yeah. So at that point, I'm like, man, this is my name. Whatever. I gave him a fake name. I was like, nah, I'm here to pick somebody up. I'm here to pick up a friend. Whatever, right? So they're like, man, what you bang? And I was like, man, I stayed quiet, right? So I'm like, should I lie or should I tell him the
There was
truth
3 of them.
or what? Yeah, it was 3 of them. But little did I know that right there on the side of the apartments, they were having a party. So they ended up being like 20 of them, 30 of them.
Mm.
And I'm not seeing this. And how I know who they are, because they're wearing the colors. This gang is called the LPs, La Primera. And they're wearing all white. White flag, white glasses, all of
You
that.
see that easy, even at night.
Yeah, easily. And our colors are black. So we be wearing all black. Black
Mhm.
shirt, black pants, black flag. So I already knew who they were. And so when all of this started unfolding, they started tripping with me, right? They started coming up to me. He had the gun. And I started telling them, like, damn, y'all just gonna shoot me like that? Right? Because it started escalating quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's no lights. It's dark. And at these apartments, there's a club, like, right there. So that noise from the club, you can't hear nothing.
Mhm.
So I started trying to tell them, like, man, y'all just gonna shoot me or what? Y'all ain't gonna let me get one-on-one or nothing like that? I was like, man, that's the least I could do. You know what I mean? So I really kind of hurt their pride. So they're like, okay, well, we're gonna fight, right? So I ended up fighting one of them. I started fighting one of them, and I started kind of beating them up. I really didn't want to just beat them all the way up.
Yeah, because the rest of them stand there.
Yeah.
So, okay, during that whole time, I have a Bluetooth on me, right? So I ended up calling some of my homeboys that were nearby. So as I'm talking to them, like, they know what's going on. So they're on the way. I'm just trying to buy a little bit of time, you know what I mean? So I start finding them. So I don't want to just beat them up all the way because I know what's going to happen next. So at some point, one of the other guys that don't have the gun, he's right there too. So he jumps in. So now I'm fighting two people, right? So we going back and forth, and at some point, the guy that had the gun, he pulls it out. Well, he already got it out, but so he points it at me, right? But I'm fighting these other two guys, so we're doing a lot of moving around. One of them starts trying to grab me, so we're kind of like dancing back and forth, and I'm kind of using him as a shield, and then he's got the gun, he's trying to point it at my chest, but it's so much going on, and at this point, I'm trying to find the opportunity where I can reach my gun, get it out, take the safety out, and cock it back and point.
Hell, at that point,
It's a lot of
Because
work.
by the time I do that, I'm shot.
Yeah.
I'm shot, and I've been shot before. I know how it feels, and it don't feel very good, very pleasant. So this is what's going on, right? So at one point, the guy with the gun gets close enough, and I grab him from the shirt. So now we're all involved, and he's trying to handle the gun. He's trying to, like, you know what I mean? It's so much going on, and he you could tell he wasn't experienced at holding a gun or nothing like that, because he was trying to figure out how me not to grab his gun. You know what I mean?
he's just fumbling around. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when some of the other guys started coming from around the corner. They heard the commotion or whatever, right? Or they came out to check up on them or drink or whatever, and then they seen what was going on. So at one point, one of them comes and he just starts running towards me, and everybody gets out the way, and I'm looking and I'm like, what? So he tackles me. He just tackles me. He grabs me by the waist and tackles me. But right when he's gonna grab me, everybody kind of like got out the way. They're like, what's going on? So right before he tackled me, I got the gun and I put it like this behind me, right, to where they couldn't see it.
Your gun or?
My gun.
Okay.
So I had a 9mm at the time, and so he grabbed me, he tackled me, and he tackled me into like a Astros van into the front of the grill. So boom, we both got slammed into the van, and at that point I see all of them trying to come towards me, right? Like they trying to jump me. So when I see them coming towards me, that's when I already got the gun out. So I pointed at them, right? But honestly, I really wasn't trying to go that way. You know, I was really just trying to diffuse the situation at first.
Yeah.
And so when they seen the gun, they kind of got spooked. They kind of were like, whoa, he got a gun. I surprised them.
Where's
And,
the old boy with the 380?
He's in front of me. He's like about,
And you know he's armed.
yeah, he's
And
armed.
how many of these other guys you don't know?
Yeah, well, I ended up finding out that at least 3 of them were armed, because later on I found out the bullet shells that they found, there was 3 different guns. Plus mine, there was 4. So he was about, when all this played out and that dude tackled me, we kind of spread a little bit. He was about a good 10 feet away. So whenever he tried to come towards me, he was a good 5 feet away. And when I pulled it out, he kind of got spooked and backed up, right? Like he was trying to duck for cover or whatever. So good. All of them has, right? Like they kind of spread out. They backed up a little bit. But now I got this dude. He's locked up on me like a pit bull. He ain't letting go.
But you can still raise your arm.
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
to-
My arms are free. He just got me
okay.
around the waist when
Gotcha.
he slammed me into the van.
Gotcha.
So now I'm like, I still ain't trying to shoot nobody. I still ain't trying to go that route. So now I can't get this dude off me, right? He's on me. So I start trying to pistol whoop him. I'm pistol whooping him. I'm trying to hit him, but he ain't letting go, right? So I'm
And
like,
you're still stood up against the van.
yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, man, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So at this point, I'm like, okay, this situation that went on long enough. It's been a good little minute already, and I know that now I'm like, okay, they got a party right there, so I know that they finna come. They finna start coming. They done already looked. They done already went back in and told their friends what's going on. So they're all starting to come out little by little, one at a time. So I'm like, man, this dude, he's not getting up off me. He's a big dude, bigger than me. So I'm like, man, I can't get him up off me. So in my mind, I don't wanna shoot him because I have a fear that the bullet's gonna go through him and shoot me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, man. So at some point during this thought process going through my mind, and I still have the Bluetooth, it hasn't fell from my ear yet. They start shooting, right? The guy with the 380 starts shooting.
Their first shot's the 380.
He started shooting. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, because the other guns hadn't came yet. The other dudes had them that were inside. Once they come out, they start shooting too. So he comes around and he starts shooting. So, I've been in this situation before. When you live in the life you live in, being in a gang, you've been in situations like this before. So I didn't freeze. I didn't panic.
Well, you're in a fight for your life.
Yeah. So I'm watching what the guy is doing, and I see he's really not trying to shoot me. He's just shooting because the bullets are way off.
He's making noise.
Right. He's just making noise. I don't know what he's doing, so I'm not really worried about him, right? So a few times the sparks did get close because I heard the metal hit.
Yeah.
The bullet in the truck hit and some sparks fly, right? So I'm like, whatever, right? So I don't feel nothing. I don't see nothing. So at one point I started seeing blood, right? So I kind of stopped. They're at a distance because I still got the gun. Everything's happening so fast at this point. And I look around. I'm like, man, there's blood. But I don't feel nothing. So I'm thinking it's probably him, or I'm thinking he's just bleeding, his nose busted, something, right? So maybe about a minute, somewhere around a minute after that.
It's a long time in a firefight.
Yeah, my arm starts to just feel weird. So I'm like a tingly, like numb, like it don't hurt.
You were hit.
Yeah, I was hit.
And adrenaline didn't let you feel it right away.
Yeah, so once I seen that and I felt that, I said, my mind was like, oh, damn, I just got shot, right? So at that point, my mentality has always been like, hey, I'd rather see my kids from a jail cell than not see them at all. You know what I mean? You can't see them if you're dead.
Right.
But at least if you're in jail, you can get visits, see them through the window, whatever, talk to them. So at this point, I'm like, man, that's over with, right? So I took the safety out, cocked it back, and I started shooting. Boom, 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 boom. So the first one.
Just at everybody or at somebody in particular?
Well, I was shooting in particular,
Yeah.
I was shooting in particular.
Yeah.
But again, I wasn't trying to kill nobody, right?
Yeah.
But that first one, like I know what I was doing the whole time, but that first one, he was the one that had the 380. That's the one that I was mad that I shot him in the chest.
Mm.
So I was really trying to kill him.
Yeah.
But the whole time I really wasn't trying to kill nobody, you know what I mean? I wasn't
We were trying to stop the threat.
I'm trying to leave,
I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole time this dude still clamped onto me. He's not letting go. The whole time this is going on. So I'm like, okay, so I start shooting. I shot one in the chest. And at this point, they're all like 5 feet close to me. So they start coming near me, and I shot one in the chest. I shot one in the arm, one in the leg. I shot the other one in the stomach. I ended up shooting 5 people that day. None of them died.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank God, because, I ended up going to jail for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the difference between doing 12 years and having a life sentence. So that's what ended up happening. I ended up
So how many
shooting them
times did you fire your weapon?
the whole clip,
So that was what?
like 17 shots, and then I had
17.
another clip with me.
Yeah.
I had 2 clips.
Yeah.
So at this point, when I'm doing that, when I done shot them, they done went down, and then the party's right there, so they're all coming out. And then at first, everybody got spooked. They got scared. They kind of backed up. Some ran, some didn't. But next thing you know, all of them started like just coming towards me. And this dude, I'm hitting him, pistol whooping him still.
After you shot the
Yeah, he ain't letting go. So at one point,
let go.
and I'm using the van as my back support. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I fall to the ground, it's over with.
Yeah,
It's over
once
with.
you're
I can't-
surrounded, yeah.
So at this point, they done came too close to where I'm like, we got to go down. We got to go to the ground now. So we went to the ground, and it was about 4 of them that was trying to jump me. But at some point, they stopped trying to jump me. They were kicking me at first, but they weren't really getting no good hits. And I was able to take the clip out and put the other clip in there, right? And then they started trying to, like, hold my arm and take my gun.
Yeah.
So we're on the floor, and I'm kind of like rolling. I got it like in front of me, like by my chest and my stomach, and they're all behind me, on top of me, and I'm rolling back and forth trying to stop them from taking it from me, right? So the dude that's clamped on me, he done got his arm wrapped around my neck now.
Yeah.
Right? He ain't got a good grip to where he's choking me, but he's just holding me. He's on top of me. So his face is right here. So we rolling back and forth. So at this point, the dudes that I shot, they didn't go down. They're up, standing, running around.
Yeah,
like,
it's not like it's in the movies.
they
the movies depict gun violence really bad.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're still
Yeah.
active and trying to beat
Yeah.
me up and whatever, right? So at that point, I start hearing more gunshots, right? But they can't really shoot at me because of like all the people that's around me.
Yeah, too
Right.
many people on you. Yeah.
Yeah, so this dude, he don't want to let me go, and I know I'm like, man, I haven't killed none of them, right? They're not life or death right now.
Yeah.
So I got the gun, and this dude's my main problem because he's not letting me go the whole time. So
Yeah.
Have you reloaded by this time?
Yeah, he
I had
reloaded.
already put the other clip in.
Yeah.
So I got the gun by my stomach so they can't get it, right? And I end up coming up from my side and pointed it to his stomach.
Yeah.
So I'm telling him, man, let me go. I'm poking him. I'm
Yeah.
poking him with the pistol, right? And I'm like, let me go, right?
You're a
Ain't
lot
tryna-
more considerate than I could have been.
Yeah, but again, I'm like, I know what's going on, and I'm like, man, if I go this route, and then with my record, it don't matter if I was the victim or if I was at fault or anything like that. At the
Another
end of the day,
gangbanger in
yeah,
trouble.
you're a
right?
gangbanger. They're gonna get you out of the street. Both y'all, everybody going to jail, which what ended up happening, right? So I'm poking him with it. I'm like, let me go, or I'm finna shoot. He's not trying to let go. So in my head, I'm like, okay, he think I'm playing. So I bring it up and I put it right here where his face is at. So I put it to his forehead and I'm like, man, you got 3 seconds to let me go, or I'm gonna shoot. And when I tell you that dude, he didn't do nothing but close his eyes and brace himself. I told him, I said, man, he got some nuts. And I'm like, man.
He
And
was ready to
He
go.
was ready. I mean, and you know, that's
Come
when you're dealing
on.
with people that they about that life. That's what comes with it. That's what you're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not dealing with people that are just gonna run or just lay down or whatever. They trying to tell they living their life too. They're telling their story. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I don't want to shoot him in the head because I don't know if the gun is just gonna blow right
Yeah.
and mess my
The
face
skull
up.
shrapnel will kill
Yeah,
you
and then
too.
brain matter on me, you know. So I was like, man. So I come back down. I said 3, 2, and I shot him. I shot him right in the stomach. That's the one I shot in the stomach. I shot him, boom. And as soon as I did that, he let me go. He started screaming. He let me go. And then I managed to. I'm already out of breath. I'm tired. I can't even feel my body, my legs, like my lungs are on fire because I can't breathe. And I'm like, man, I've been fighting for my life. So I start trying to roll a little bit, and I managed to get into like between one of the cars. And that's when the other guns started shooting. One was a 380, one was a 25, I think, and I think the other one was a 45, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Those were the 3 shells that they found. And
But in this whole thing, you only got shot once in the arm.
I only got shot once, and it went.
Yeah, you got lucky.
I got shot in my arm, and it went in and out.
Yeah.
It didn't
Clean
hit
shot.
the bone or nothing, just
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah.
You know.
That's cool. Yeah.
Well, if you had to choose getting shot, that'd be
Yeah.
the way to go right there.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
right through the meat and gone. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, they were shooting, and I start shooting back, right? Counting my bullets. I'm like, man, I know I'm down to like my last 3. So all that's going on. Eventually, they start running out of bullets, and then one of them managed to like crawl his way through like the back, through like the fence in the dark where all the cars were at, because I was like at the bumpers where the cars were at. And he ended up coming from behind, and by the time I looked and I realized he had already tackled me, he ran up and tackled me into the car and knocked me out. So I'm like, I was like in and out unconsciously, and they jump on top of me. They take the gun or whatever, the gun fell or whatever. I remember when I fell, right before the split second, I kind of threw it under the car, right? Threw it under the car so they can't get it, because I figured they ran out of bullets or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to be shot with your own gun, too. Yeah.
Yeah, so they pulled me out. They dragged me out. This dude pulled me out, dragged me out. But luckily, there were like other people, like some ladies and stuff like that were I guess they knew him and were like, no, leave him alone, don't do it, leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
So he managed to drag me out to the middle of the parking lot, where the other guys that had got shot, now they're all laid out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're still breathing or whatever, but at this point they done lost too much blood.
Some of them probably bleeding out.
Yeah, I done lost too much blood too. At this point, I can't even move a muscle.
Yeah.
And
So I'm sure the ambulances were on the way. Somebody called.
Yeah.
They might not have called the cops, but they sure called the ambulance.
Yeah. Well, we're all laid out, and I see the cop shows up first, and he's cautious. He got his gun out. What's going on?
Yeah, he's got 30 people standing there. He don't know who the bad guy is.
6 people on the ground. Like, what's going on? So he comes in, he handles the situation. But right before the cops got there, so this whole incident took anywhere from like 20 to 30 minutes. The whole incident, from start to finish, to when the cops got there.
That's a long damn time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So before the cops got there, though, I'm passed out. I'm laid out. And I see some guns right there, whatever. So I see this guy. He just comes like something straight out of a movie. He just comes and he's a nobody. He lives there. He's seeing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He just comes and starts grabbing the guns and burns off. So I'm in my head.
You saw an opportunity.
Yeah. So in my head, I'm
It's
like,
like a gun store.
It's a firearms
yeah,
collector.
In my head, I'm like, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good, because there's no evidence now.
Right.
Where's
yeah.
the guns at? So
you're shot just like a bunch of
I'm
others.
like, he don't look like he was on their side. He just grabbed the guns and left. So, they come and the paramedics, they cut my clothes with the scissors.
Oh yeah.
Them too, so we're all naked on the street.
Yeah.
That's proper procedure.
Yeah.
They cleaned me up. They put us in the ambulance, took us to the hospital. So I'm there for a few days, getting blood.
and
all
then
of
comes
that.
the investigation.
Then comes the investigation. I've been through this before.
Yeah.
So the officer comes and he's like, okay, what happened? And I'm like, oh man, I don't remember. I blacked out. I don't remember nothing. Like, I'm traumatized, right? That's the role I'm playing. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
so I'm like, man, I don't know nothing, man. I just know I got shot. I don't know who or what, right? I'm not gonna say nothing. You in the streets. So apparently they go and ask them what happened, and they say that I try to rob them. So when they come back, they try to I'm going to jail.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, wait, what? So I'm like, nah. I'm gonna tell you what really happened. I told them. I said this was gang related,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what happened. And he's like,
Because they saw your tattoo.
yeah, and I mean it made sense, because they're like, I'm by myself. They see how I'm dressed to go to the club. I don't look like I'm out there robbing people.
Right.
I got my glasses, some Versace glasses. I'm dressed nice with my jewelry. So they're like, do I look like I'm going to go rob somebody? I was like, man, I'm on my way to have a good time to the club, and I'm here to pick somebody up. So they but the thing was that I'm not saying nothing. So they're like, we got to go with them. You ain't saying nothing. And we got 5, 6, 7, 8 people saying this is what happened. They done already got their story together. So that's what's going on, right? So now we all go to jail. Now we all going to jail. On my 3rd day at the hospital, once I'm good, boom, let's go. So they take me to jail, and you know how that goes.
Yeah, not good. It's strange because, like, when I was a kid, I lived in a pretty crappy neighborhood myself, and there were gangs and all that stuff. Difference between, I guess, the situation that you're talking about and situations that I saw or got into was, if you were alone, you just paid a toll and you were good. And then they decide right then and there on the street what that toll might be, But at least they gave you the opportunity. If you were by yourself, just pay your toll and
Right.
we'll let you go.
They showed you that they controlled that area.
Yeah, yeah. So
Right.
I'm surprised they just started just tripping and wow.
Yeah.
That I guess it as time went on, that whole toll thing went out the
And
window.
you didn't represent a rival group.
I wasn't in a gang, but I mean at the same time, not being in a gang was kind of like being in a gang, because you were like independent and they didn't like that shit either.
Right.
So I mean,
You got to choose an allegiance.
yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what would happen to us. We just had to pay a toll if we were
So-
alone. Now, if there was more than one of us, trouble ensued. But yeah, just single person, man. Yeah, You're going to be all right.
They go through the investigation. It takes a year or so.
Yeah.
How did it end up?
So it ended up with 3 of them not showing up to court, because at the time they're going to say whatever they're going to say just to get out and go home or whatever.
They were witnesses for the prosecution of you.
Right.
And they didn't show up?
Nobody showed up, which is normally what happens, because nobody wants to deal with it, especially when you bond out and anything like that. And at this time, they found out what was really going on and who I really was. So they're like, oh, man, we're not just messing with just anybody. This dude, he got some power. You know what I mean? And they don't want no trouble with their families or nothing like that.
And their name in the paper for sure and everything.
Yeah.
So they don't want to be like, I'm a witness and I'm going to go testify and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
you don't do that. Yeah.
And then, people, at the same time, people out there living life. They ain't got time to deal with that. They got to go to work. They got bills to pay. They don't want to get caught up in all that.
So that helped you. They didn't show up.
So did you have state representation for an attorney? Is that what you got?
In the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of go in there lost and don't know what to do or what to expect. But I already kind of knew what was going on. So I get the state attorney to represent me first, the one that they give you, just because I want to see what they're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then whatever he can do to lower your time or whatever your chances are, then from there, when you hire a lawyer, he can always take over from there.
Right.
And he done already did most of the job for free.
Yeah.
But you don't want to have a court appointed lawyer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they pay them. You know what I mean? So they're representing you or them or that's what's going on. So I ended up getting a lawyer, and I really kind of didn't like how he was representing me or whatever. I think I paid him. He was charging me like $30,000, and I ended up paying him about close to $8,000 until I seen that he really wasn't working like he was supposed to.
Much.
What was the range of punishment you were looking at?
Oh, I was a first-degree felony, 5 to 99. 5 to 99 years. No less than 5.
Well, that's a hell of a window.
That's a good range.
Yeah. And I was being charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. And that was one of my charges. So that was the very first charge that I got. I went to jail at the crime scene and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout this time, now I'm in a position where I need to get money, right? I need to get money because now I got to pay for the lawyers. I got to pay for court. I got to pay for a lot of stuff.
Unfortunately, that's the facts.
Yeah, and I got to get a good lawyer, a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 lawyer, because at this time, my first court, I go to court and my court-appointed lawyer is like, I haven't bonded out yet. I'm in the county, 701 county, right?
So they just brought you straight from the holding cell to court.
Yeah, to court. So they're like, hey, man, I'm sit there and I'm waiting. He calls my name. He opens up my file, starts looking through it. They're offering you 60 years. So I look at him.
Is he thinking you should take that?
Yeah, I mean. But I've been in and out, so I kind of see what's going on and how they play the game. So
it's a negotiation.
I knew it was gonna be a high number. They start off high and then come down low.
Yeah.
But if you have a serious case, like murder case, something serious, like what happened, they're gonna start off high and they're gonna stop somewhere in the middle. So when he told me 60 years, I walked off on him. I didn't even say nothing to him, nothing. That's all the conversation was. Yeah, well, they're offering you 60 years. And I felt like, man, ain't nothing to talk about. What we talking for?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You talking crazy. And I went and I left him and I went straight to the restroom. And when I tell you that to this day I've never took a shit like that, I had to use the bathroom. I never took a shit like that.
Yeah.
I was messed up. I was like, what?
Talk about a punch in the gut, huh?
Yeah, it's a long time.
60 years, I'm going to be like 80 when I get out. That's if I make it out. So, whatever. So, throughout this whole process, you go to court like every 2 weeks or once a month. So, he's calling me back like every week because I'm not talking to him. He comes back, he's like, man, they're offering you 60 years. I walk off. Same thing. And after like the 4th, 5th time, they go down to 50. He like, man, today only. This is the offer on the table. Today only.
We're having a sale.
Yeah, that's how they make it sound.
Having
Like,
to sell on time.
Yeah.
it's either 60 or we're going to go up to 70
Shit.
if you don't sign now. But we'll give you a deal today. We'll give you 50 years.
Yeah, sign this, and we do all the paperwork and get out of
then-
here, and you do 50 years.
Yeah, so
Oh,
That's a crappy plea bargain, man. That's horrible.
yeah, so he tells me, hey, man, eventually you're going to have to talk to me. You know, we're going to have to talk about this. We can't keep doing this. So I say, look, I'll talk to you when you start talking to me with something I can understand. I don't understand what you're talking about. 60 years? I got to do 30 on that minimum just to come up for parole. So I'm like, nah. You talk to me like you got some sense, then I'm going to talk to you. You know what I mean? Because right now you talking crazy.
you needed a lawyer that wasn't working for
yeah.
the state. We just wanting to check the box, you
Yeah,
know,
so-
and get out of there.
He's like, well, man, your cases are serious, man. This is what I said. Look, I don't care what that paper says. You know what I'm saying? I know what happened. I know what went down. And, you know, like, I'm not signing for no 60. Y'all gonna have to give me 60 because I ain't signing for it.
Yeah.
So this was going on. So I managed to bond out, right? I think my mom was like, it probably was like 5, 6, 7,000, which was more than that, but, you know, 10%.
Yeah.
So I bond out, and I'm out there in the streets, you know, doing stuff I ain't got no business doing because I'm trying to make money now, right? So I ended up catching some more cases. I ended up having like 9 felonies because I went and did some stuff to get some more money. So I ended up getting like a burglary habitation, and then I ended up getting a real robbery this time, which really, it was like another gang member. And I just went and took all his stuff. You know what I mean? And he called the cops on me, which is crazy because I'm like, what? Somebody
Didn't expect that.
Yeah, so somebody robs me.
No
I'm not
honor.
calling the cops.
No honor.
Yeah, somebody breaks into my house or steals my stuff, whatever. I'm not calling the cops. You know, because it's supposed to be G code. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So when they come to get me to my house, I had like 8, 9 different guns in the house. I had,
Which you were not allowed to have any
which I was
of
not
it.
allowed to have, right? Because I was already a felon. So I got a shotgun, sawed off at that. I had a 9mm, 380, a 25. I had a 357. I had another 9 Luger, and I don't remember what else, but I had a 38 special because I liked guns at the time. You know, I was a gun fanatic. So when they came to get me at my house, they found all of that. So now I got another charge. Possession of firearms, you know?
9 counts right
9
there.
counts. Well, they charge it all at once,
So
but
when
they
it-
can do it as counts.
So when it was all said and done, last time in
Yeah.
court, right before you get sent to the clink, I mean, how much did they give you? They give you 20 years or?
No, so I ended up hiring another lawyer, and then he ended up fighting my cases, and some of my cases got dismissed because, like, the house wasn't under my name.
Yeah.
So you can't charge me for some guns that weren't under my name. And luckily they videotaped it and nothing was in plain sight. They were like in a closet put up or
Okay,
whatever
yeah.
basement. So they couldn't really charge me with that. So another charge that I had when they went in there, they found like marijuana by big amounts. That's all they put because they hadn't even weighed it yet. They didn't know how much it was or nothing.
Yeah.
Cocaine by big amounts. You know what I mean? And all of those cases got dismissed. I was left with 4 cases. I had an aggravated robbery, burglary of a habitation, the possession with a simple robbery, and they did give me one possession of a firearm. So my lawyers have been fighting those cases on and off till they're like, look, I have 4 cases left. So my plan was to beat all these cases, you know? So I was like, I know I can get these 2 dismissed and get all these dismissed. So but at this point, throughout every month now, they start going down to 50. Then they start going down to 40 every court date, which is like 30 days, every 30 days. So finally they come down to like, they get stuck at 35 for a long time, for like 6 months. They're not trying to move from 35. Because I'm thinking, okay, they're going to go
Did
down.
they ever mention trial by jury? We'll let the...
Oh, yeah. They always, you get to pick. trial by jury or trial by judge?
Right.
Which one? You know,
And the
pick your
judge is
poison.
hoping y'all make a deal. All you got to do is read it
Yeah.
and stamp his little.
Pick your poison. Which one? Yeah, they're gonna convict you, but how you want it?
Right.
You know. So that's what's going on, and finally, my whole plan was to get all this knocked down and get that robbery dismissed and really get time served. You know what I mean? Like usually, like I always do.
I get it. Yeah.
So the DA is like, no, like we're gonna put all these other 3 cases on pause and we're gonna deal with this one first, because if I get hanged for this one, it eats up all the other ones, because the other ones are only less than 20 years, 2 to 20. This one's 5 to 99. So let's say I get 50 years for this one. These other ones don't even matter because it's gonna eat it all up. They're gonna run it concurrent.
Yeah.
So they're like, deal with this one. So either I beat this one and I beat all of them, or I lose this one and I lose all the way.
Yeah.
So that's what starts going on. So I'm fighting. I fired that lawyer, hired another lawyer. So I ended up hiring 3 different lawyers. Fired one, hired one, fired one, hired one. And I ended up getting a real good lawyer. His name was Ike. They call him the boss. And he charged me $30,000, and I gave him $10,000, and then he the one that worked the whole case. So he got him down to like 20, 25, and we couldn't go nowhere from there. So, you know, they come around Christmas time, you know, with a present, talking about, hey, today only 18 years.
Yeah.
So the whole time, like, I'm like, I'm not signing for that. I'm not signing for that. We'll go to trial. We'll go to trial right now. So I'm steady playing that role where I want to go to trial, which I really do, because these people not showing up to court.
I get it. Yeah.
It's been a whole year, you know. So finally, I ended up going on bond. I had to go on the run. Went on the run for a little bit. Came back to jail. They got me. And the cases were so weak. These people weren't showing up to court. So at the end of the day, they offered me 12 years. And I was like, give me 10. I'll sign right now. So they gave me 10 years aggravated.
Okay.
For aggravated robbery and a burglary habitation. And they're like, we'll dismiss the other 2 cases. So I'm like, okay, bet. I've been fighting this case for a year. I'm going to get all that time. So I'll do 9.
They didn't charge you for the jumping of the bond?
They could have, but they were just trying to kill everything already, squash everything, sign right
So
here.
you figured you'd fly through 9 and
I would have to do 9 at the most, but they were telling me about this law where you were supposed to do 35%. So therefore, I would only do like 2.5 years, which ended up happening not being true. You know what I mean? On any aggravated case, you got to do half your time mandatory. If I get 50, you do 25. So on the 10, I do 5. So 4 more to come up for parole. So I took the 10. And there it is. They sent me to the penitentiary. But
what was the first day in the penitentiary like? You see the movies where they get off the bus and all the other guys are catcalling them. Oh, there's a pretty one.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that. It's that's about one of the few things that the prison movies did get right. You know, like they load you up onto the bus from the county to go to prison. It's like about a 30-day to 60-day process. They could come pick you up. 30 days, 45 days, because you got to go through the system and then they ship you off. So they're gonna come pick you up on a bus. And see, TDC in Texas, they got like transits, you know, where it's prison, but it's not really like a prison. And then you got like small prisons where, I mean, you could consider them prisons. They're all prisons, but like when you get a certain amount of time, like if you get 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you really don't go nowhere. You know what I mean? But when you get a lot of time, like me, which was considered a lot of time, they send you to a unit. That means that's like the big prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like the small, medium, and large. This one, they call it a farm because you stuck there. This is like the real prison.
Yeah.
So, you know, some people be like, I went to prison or whatever, and they were just in transfer, you know, or state jail. That's which is really nothing compared to the big prison, you know? So they ship me off, and, you know, you get there, and they sent me to the WAS unit. I went to the WAS unit. And then from there, I went to like an intake where you got to go get orientation and all of that. So they got like 3 or 4 orientations. I ended up going to Gurney unit, which is a transit. And right there, they take your blood, whatever medical history, basically getting you ready to put you in there. So then from there, they basically decide where they're going to put you, what unit. Because you got people that got cases that aren't serious.
You spend about 2 weeks
Yeah.
by yourself before they figure
Yeah.
out what to do with you.
So they got people that don't have serious cases. They send them to a low custody prison.
Yeah.
So they ended up deciding that, well, my history, gang related, I'm very aggressive. We're going to send him to Telford Unit. Telford Unit is in New Boston, Texas. It's right next to Texarkana. And, man, that's one of the worst prisons in Texas overall.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they sent me there, and they shipped me off on a bus. And we get there, and, the guards are going to get off the bus. You have all your stuff, put it down, and they do the whole routine where they search you, make sure you don't have nothing on you, whatever, cut your hair if they need to, if it's too long, take your picture, all that stuff they do right there. But when they give you everything that you need, which really ain't nothing, toothpaste, deodorant, whatever, they put you they take you to where you're going to live at, to your cell. So they take you in there, and then, you walking down and people looking at you, and some of them are whistling.
They can tell you're a new guy.
Yeah, they could tell. So, they looking at you. Where you going to go? Who is he? Like what? They trying to look for enemies or who's pulling up. They need to know who's pulling up, who's here, who's not, all that. So they need to know everything and anything. So they put me straight in. And at this time, I was blasting. I was Tango Blast when I was in there. So yeah, I mean, I left one gang to join another gang because that's a prison gang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different rules in there. There's different stuff going on in there. But I grew up around nothing but Tango Blast. So I already knew a lot about it. And Tango Blast it's a gang, but it's really more than a gang. You know what I mean? We all looking out for each other, trying to make it home.
Yeah. I get it.
So
Safety
when they
in
see me,
numbers.
I already got the tattoo because I have been locked up before. So they see the star, they already know. So really, honestly, a lot of that is kind of like, they already know I'm blasting. So I'm kind of all right. They still going to test you and check you to make sure. But they're kind of like, okay, you a humble? All right. That we going to see. And once you pass whatever you got to go through, then you're okay.
Yeah.
But there's other people there that they don't rep nothing, or they don't, and that's the ones that really get the business. So they take me in there to the cell, and I go to the third row with my stuff. My cellmate's not in there. He's not in there. Usually when somebody moves into the cell, the other one steps out so he can get situated, organize all his stuff, respect thing. So when I went into that cell and that door closed behind me, it's like, I was like, everything just hit me hard.
Yeah.
Because I'm in this small cell.
Day one of 10 years.
Day
to go.
one.
So you bringing your paperwork in too?
Got my paperwork.
Yeah, and you got to
all
show your
that.
paperwork
I
to
gotta
everybody
show
so
them
they
my
know that
paperwork.
you're not a child molester and all
but
that
I haven't
shit.
even got that far yet. This is just this. I'm in the cell. Just got to the cell. Got all my stuff. Just took I think it was like a 12-hour bus ride
Yeah.
from the Gurney unit all the way up there because it's up north by Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we got to make stops and pick other people, drop people off. So it was a long ride. So I get there, the door closes, and Telford got big cells. They got other units that got real tiny cells, and then they got what we call big cells, but they're still small.
Yeah.
So I put my stuff down, I looked around, and I looked at my bed, I looked at my cellmate's bed, I looked around at the walls, and I looked at the toilet's right there. Your toilet and your sink's right there.
Yeah.
And I remember everything just hit me hard. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know what to think or feel. Only thing going through my mind was like, man, I gotta spend the next 10 years right here next to a toilet. I gotta sleep by a toilet. I gotta eat by a toilet. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. I turned around. I looked out the door. You got a little window thing where you can look.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the other
So it wasn't
inmates.
bars. It was solid with a window.
It was a door with two windows you could look out.
Wow.
Which is a little bit better because you get some privacy at least than having the bars. The bars, anybody can just look in there wide open.
Right.
So I go in and I look at all these people, all these inmates, You got some that are tattered up. You got some huge people, and I'm only like 20
Yeah.
at this time. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, I'm looking at these humongous people, and I'm little. I'm probably like $160. You got these guys that are 350, 400
But
pounds.
they've been working out for 10 years.
Looking like
Yeah.
Van Diesel and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I'm looking around, and like I'm figuring out what's going on. Like, you got all the black people here, you got the Mexicans here, you got the whites over here, like, and then you could tell like these are Crips, these are Bloods, these are different gangs. And I'm looking there, and I'm trying to process all this and figure everything out while still trying to accept that I have to be here for the next 10 years. And I'm just like, man. So that's what happened. I was in that cell for because they got to come open your door. So I was there for like about 2-3 hours. But once I had to come out, because once you get situated, you got to come out.
Yeah.
I came out, got my paperwork, boom, came out, got my court papers and everything, stepped out, and I went looking for the homeboys, the ones that are blasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I seen one, he had a star on his face. So everybody's looking at me. I'm coming down, everybody's looking at me. They're like, what's going on? Boom, who is he? What he got going on? Where he from? So I come down and I talk to homeboy, right? I'm like, man, what's up? I'm blasting, right? So he pulls me to the side. So he's talking to me. He like, where you from? I tell him where I'm from, what area, what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? They want to know who I am. So I tell him everything. I show him my paperwork.
Yeah, you're going to have to show them your paperwork.
Show him my paperwork. This is what I'm here for. So he like, okay, you was already a homeboy. I'm like, yeah, I've been over here to state jail. I've been whatever, right? And so he like, okay. So that's when they give you the rules of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look, this is what's going on. They sit over there. We sit right here. Don't nobody sit here but us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't sit over there. This is our TV. That's their TV. They got phones. This is our phone. That's their phone. Like, everything's accounted for right there.
Right, yeah.
Everything. You see those showers? Those are our showers. Those are their showers. You don't go in their shower. They don't go in our showers, you know?
Yeah.
So they start breaking everything down. Like, hey, don't go over here.
Yeah.
Stay away from here. Boom, boom. These are the rules. Hey, if something happens, this is what you're supposed to do, whatever. So you get everything. You get familiarized with everything that's going on. And you want to be on top of that because you don't want to make a small mistake that might not mean nothing. You might have been walking over here or going over here or just taking a shower in the wrong shower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's dudes that they'll go in there and beat you up.
Yeah.
2-3 deep. They don't care if you're naked.
Yeah.
They'll go in there. What happened? I wasn't paying attention and I took a shower in the wrong shower, you know, or sat in the wrong seat.
Yeah.
There's people in there that get killed for sitting in the wrong seat, for being in the wrong shower, you know.
Rough.
People go in there
It's militant. You know?
Yeah, like I might go in there and I might be taking a shower. I got a knife with me that we make in there out of stuff, metal, whatever. And some dude might go in there and beat me up because I'm in the wrong shower, but he might not know. I might have a life sentence. And I just done stabbed them up and killed them.
Yeah.
Now it just don't start. Like, anything could happen. Any given moment. You never know what could happen.
Yeah.
Anything happen real quick. But once I stepped out and talked to them and let them know everything that's going on, who I was, what I was trying to do, boom, everything was all right.
How long do you think it takes you to settle into it? I mean, where you just settle into it just becomes life.
Like, about 3 months.
Yeah, I figured it takes quite a
About
while.
3 months. And that's if you're sharp. If you kind of been locked up, did a little bit of time, kind of know the rules. But for a person that don't know none of that, at least 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
There's people that's been there for a year that never been locked up, haven't been in the streets, were out there with their family and just made a mistake. And they're coming here and they're trying to understand why I can't use this phone, why I can't, you know, like, and it takes them a whole year to even process it and understand and remember, like, that I can't do this, I can't go over here or whatever it may be, you know. But it depends what unit you go to. Some units, they're less dangerous.
Yeah.
They're a little more passive about the stuff they do. Oh, you took in the wrong shower? Hey, bro, don't take a shower right there. This is why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll talk to you and be like, okay, I appreciate that. And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, everything was avoided. But you got some units like Telford where they ain't trying to hear that. They're waiting for you to make a mistake because you should already know better.
Yeah.
And if you don't know better, this just happened to you, so now you know better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you learn those lessons the hard way, I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
So
where
you got
at.
10. Did you do the whole 10?
I did the whole 10 plus.
Yeah, I was
two
going
more.
to say, you got 10. How'd you
So
do
how'd
12?
you pick up 2, man? What'd you do?
Oh man, so at first I was in there, and I mean, you ain't a man if you don't tell people that you was in there. You feel a little bit of fear. You're scared. You're nervous. It don't matter how gangster you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just comes natural. Eventually, it leaves your system. So I stopped trying to live like that, like walking on eggshells, like being careful all the time, being cautious. And then one day I woke up, and I've never been the type of person that I had to watch out for people. I was the type of person where they have to watch out for me.
Yeah.
So one day I woke up and I'm like, what I'm worried about? Like what I'm scared of. They supposed to be scared of me, if anything. I ain't worried about what you gonna do to me. You need to worry about what I'm gonna do to you.
So you decided to carry yourself a little different.
Right, and that's when my mind started transitioning, because I try to like stay out the way, and and then the people that they tend to mess with more, the people that's trying to do right, go home, stay out the way, not get into any trouble.
Well, it's like a pack of dogs.
Yeah,
you see a weak one over there, and you're going to mess with it.
Right, but when you're the one trying to get out there and pick on people or whatever, they it turns. The tables turn. It flips. So when I was in there, I was doing everything. I was selling drugs. I was selling cell phones. I had access to cell phones. I had access to everything and anything.
Mm-hmm.
Liquor, whatever you wanted. And we had prices better than the prices out here. Honestly. And
It's a fire sale.
yeah, it's a wholesale. Everything
Yeah,
must go.
I get
So
it.
I ended up having a cell phone, and I ended up getting the laws ended up getting.
You got 2 years for a damn cell phone?
I got 4. I got 4
For a
years
cell phone?
for a cell phone.
Man.
So that's how I ended up doing 12,
Mhm.
and then the other 2 years I did on parole. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Right,
So you
so-
did do 2 on parole. Yeah, I was wondering if
Yeah.
you just served time straight up and they
Yeah,
let you go or what?
yeah. So I did.
Wow.
I did my 10 first,
Yeah.
and then I had to start my 4,
Yeah.
and that's where the 2 comes in. So I did 12.
Yeah.
So
But
people
you're
be
off
like,
parole now and you're good, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
I'm
do
in the process. Everything's already done and everything.
Yeah.
Like I've been out here doing everything I was supposed to do,
Yeah.
job and everything.
How long
So
is the parole?
the parole was almost 2 years, close to 2 years,
Yeah.
like 20 months.
And you've been out how long?
And I've been out since October 1st. So I was supposed to get off in March because they gave me a little bit of back time when I was going back and forth to court for the cell phone. So they give you a little bit of back time on that. So yeah, that's what happened. So
Wow.
people always be like, so how much time you do, or
Yeah.
how much time you got? I tell them, I did 12 out of 10, and they be like, what? I'm like, yeah, you go in there.
Yeah,
It's
you're
bad
going to
enough.
pick up some time, man.
It's bad enough you worry
If you're
about.
putting in work, you're going to pick up
Yeah,
some time.
and then even if you're not, like something might just happen, wrong place, wrong time. Somebody might try to come take all your food in
Yeah.
there. You just went to store to commissary
Mhm.
and bought $100 of food, and then somebody might not have no food, and he might just come up on you and try to take all your food,
Mhm.
and you might have to beat him up. I've seen a situation before where they were fighting, and then he knocked him down, and his head accidentally hit the metal on the
Mhm.
bunk, and he died.
Yeah.
Just accident. You didn't mean for it to happen, but it's bad enough you got to worry about doing the time you getting. 10 years, man, you in there, and then now you done caught some more time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's weird.
it's just you don't know what's gonna happen. You go in there, you don't know if you're gonna go home.
Yeah.
A lot of people honestly don't even worry about going home. That's why they stay there so long, because they're worried about staying alive and living for the next day.
Yeah.
Going home, man, I'm trying to look past tomorrow. So that's how people end up getting stuck there for so many years.
Yeah.
Well,
So that conversation of going home, that y'all don't talk about that shit, right?
Nah,
Yeah.
not really.
Yeah.
It comes up, but not really.
Yeah.
it's got to be a hell of a culture shock for 12 years. Somebody telling you when to get up, when to take a shower, when to eat, when to go to bed.
Everything.
I mean, now you're out. I mean, I would imagine the first thing I would do is just look up at the sky, at the clouds, and go, wow, there's no ceiling here. Would it take a while for that to kind of soak in, too?
Yeah. Hard.
Yeah,
It was very hard.
What I'm curious about is like Christmas and stuff. I mean, just Christmas comes and goes and nobody even notices, or what?
Well, they know.
Well,
Well, I don't know.
when you first get there, like, it's like you notice it. Christmas has come, and they try to do, like, you got church people that go in there and they try to like give you candy and try to make the best that it can. Some
One
places
free
even
fight with no charges.
yeah. Sometimes
Go
they
for it,
even
boy.
put like sometimes they might even put like a little decoration,
Really?
just to try to like
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah.
They
Or-
acknowledge the
yeah.
holiday, but I imagine it's probably more sad than anything because what
Yeah.
you're not doing and where you're not spending
Right,
your
what
time.
you're
Yeah, it seems
family.
like the violence would start right before Christmas and kind of go
Right.
through, and people get pissed off and
Yeah.
fight and
And some places like you're there, like, I mean, for the guys that are new, I guess they kind of celebrate it, but they kind of don't because it's really like their first, second year. But we try to, make some food come together, make some
Yeah.
food for everybody, kind of like,
that's cool.
something to
Yeah.
eat.
Birthday, same thing.
Hey, like I said, we got drugs in there, cigarettes,
There you go,
weed.
yeah.
We got cell phones. So, hey, man, it's your birthday here. Go talk to your people.
Yeah.
FaceTime them, whatever. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's how they try to make the best of it. But after like 2-3 years, it's like, it's nothing. It's another day.
It's just normal.
You're numb to it. It's another day, normal day. It comes and goes.
Wow.
So I want to say on my 3rd year, what's today? Christmas. What? Christmas was last week? Man, I was the
Wow.
type of person, a lot of people are like that where you don't even pay attention to what day it is. Is it Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Because it don't matter
It's
what
just a
day it is.
Yeah.
It don't matter what day it is.
Right, you're not waiting for the weekend.
Yeah.
What month? What month is this? October?
Mhm.
Damn, I thought we was in March.
Mhm.
The only time is when it gets hot, like the summer.
Yeah.
Because when it's hot, it's hot.
Yeah.
And
There ain't
when
no
it's-
AC in there.
And when it's cold,
Yeah.
it's cold.
Mhm.
So that's the only time like, okay, it's about December, January.
Wow.
But yeah, it ain't really nothing like, oh, it's Christmas week,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I try to do it as much as possible, like celebrate certain things. Like I was the type of person that I don't care what it is, I'm celebrating it. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
It could be somebody's birthday. Oh, it's your son's birthday? Oh man, come on, we're gonna throw a party. And I don't even really know him or his son. We just want an excuse to drink, smoke, make a cake, make some food, whatever. Oh, your sister's birthday? And they're out there in the world. But we're like, oh, come on, let's go do something. You know?
So when you're going to get out, let's say it's a month or so before your release date or whatever. Does anybody prepare you for getting out? I mean, do they say, okay, when you get out, life's going to be like this? Y'all get TV, so y'all get to see what's going on.
Yeah,
But-
now we have tablets.
Yeah.
You actually have your own tablet now.
Really?
You can, yeah.
So you surf the internet and all that?
Not exactly. It's a tablet and it's monitored. And
Okay.
they let you see certain things or whatever. But it's monitored. Like, there's no internet access, but they can give you, like, Wi-Fi where, like, because you can rent movies.
Okay, you rent movies.
You want to rent Avatar, you can
that's
rent
cool.
it.
Yeah.
They'll put it on your tablet and you can watch it. You can email, you
gotta
can
pay
call.
for that?
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
pay for all that.
Yeah. So you got to have family outside to give your commissary money, right?
Right.
Or you got to earn it inside somehow.
In TDC, they don't. It's not like the feds where you work and they pay you for working.
Yeah.
Even though it's just a few cents, they don't do it like that. So you really gotta depend on your family
Yeah.
to send you money, or you have to do what we were doing, like
Mhm.
selling cell phones, selling drugs,
Yeah.
to make some money so that we could eat, so that
Yeah.
we could buy the stuff that we needed, hygiene, soap, toothpaste, deodorant,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then especially food, because the food in there is so nasty. It's
Yeah.
nasty. Like 50% of the time, that food is gonna be spoiled when they
Yeah.
give it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just
Yeah.
that's just
rough.
what it is. So you
Sucks.
have to have money so that you can eat, so you can go to the store and buy some food.
Yeah.
But nobody prepares you. Like whenever you're gonna go home, it's time for you to go home or whatever. Nobody prepares you. You know what I mean?
So
like
just the day out,
the
they
day
just
out,
open the door and
they just
push
open
you out.
the door
Yeah.
and throw you out. They have a
Don't they give you like $50 or something?
I think it went up to 100 now. Yeah, 100. So the only
$100.
person.
Here, get a hot dog.
Well, look, they have programs in there like classes where you have to go.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't do it. A lot of
Right.
people they don't want to do it. They
Like
don't even want to
GED
go to
classes
school.
and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, but they have like a class where they'll go and like reentry, or they try to prepare you and talk to you about stuff like that. But every unit has a reentry lady, and she's the one that calls you in. Okay, hey, look, you finna go home or whatever on this date, and this is what you need to do. Like when you leave here, we're gonna put this monitor on you or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You need to on Monday morning or on this day, you have to report to this office. Like,
And they already
things
know
that-
where you're going to live and if
Yeah,
you've
they
got a
already
job
know all of
waiting
that.
for you and everything.
And if not, she'll help you find a job. She'll help you find housing. If you need food stamps, transportation to go to work. If you need a job, like all of that. That's her job, the reentry lady.
Okay. Well, that's good then.
Yeah. So that, I mean, they prepare you for that, you know, like as far as that, but it's not really like on a personal level. It's just straight business.
Yeah. I
You
get
know?
it. Yeah.
But now, since we got the tablets, they got the tablets like about 8 months before I got out, a year before I got out. But those tablets are a blessing because now you have a source where on there they actually have jobs that you can go look for instead of just sitting there and not having that resource and not doing nothing.
Yeah.
Now you will have like, you got free stuff in there too. Like we have thousands and thousands of podcasts. So I'm pretty sure they got y'all's too.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because they go and take podcasts or whatever that they can get for free and just load them up there.
Sweet.
They got all kind of podcasts, Christian stuff, just whatever. And they'll load them up there. So we used to see a lot of stuff that I'd be like, oh, I seen that guy. I remember that guy. So
I'm going to hit you with a tough question. I guarantee nobody's ever asked you this one about prison before. What was the best thing that ever happened or the best day? Besides getting out, what was the best day?
Yeah, besides getting out.
Yeah.
well, it depends what you mean by that, you know, because there's
Just
different levels
a day
of it.
where you were like, damn, I can't believe that happened. That was great.
I'm gonna say when I was with a female guard in there, I was like in a relationship with a female guard.
Okay, cool.
Well, that is a good day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
making
I mean,
the
yeah.
best of things,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, but I mean, like when I see my daughter, I hadn't seen her like in 5 years.
Yeah.
That was a good day too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I cried that day, so I'm like, damn, that was a good day too.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of like, man, I mean, there's levels to it,
Right.
Because I've had some days, but when it comes to prison stuff, it had to be that. You know, I was in a relationship with one of them, and you know, we ended up getting into a cell, and
Well, you
you
had
know.
10 years to kind of butter her up and,
yeah,
you know,
you
make
got nothing
small
but time.
talk, right?
You got nothing but time.
Okay.
Well, you know what? He's a smart guy. Smart. He sounded educated. He stayed in school, right?
Yeah, I got 2 trades. I got a small engine and motorcycle ATV repair while I was in there, and then I took electrician while I was in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that just shows you that this gang thing, man, it's not always kids just living on the street looking for a family. It's peer pressure. It's who you're around, what your buddies are doing, you know.
Yeah.
And anybody can get caught up in that. You know, I hung around some bad dudes too, and he's sitting right here. He got me in all kind of trouble. Nothing like
Sorry,
what you had to face, I know.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, well, we got over it.
Yeah.
It probably goes both ways on that. But
I don't know. I think I got you in more trouble than you got me in, for sure.
probably so. I didn't want
I'm
to say that
sorry.
on the air, but yeah,
It
definitely.
happens, you know?
But
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're out. You're almost a year paroled.
Yeah.
What you got going on now, man?
Man, I mean, I got a lot going on, but like getting released, like the release process in it is kind of is difficult because they don't really just. I mean, they at the last minute they do give you a date. Hey, this day you're going home, and it might be tomorrow, and it might be 2 weeks, it might be a month.
Yeah.
So you got time to prepare. They just be freestyling really as far as that goes, you know. Whenever they decide to come up with a date or when everything's straight. So in my case, I want to say it was like 2 weeks before. So I'm like, whoa, 2 weeks, you know? And I've been getting ready. I prepared myself. I did a lot of studying while I was in there. I try to, like the last 2 years, I try to be involved in the outside world as much as possible with my family, with my girl, with my kids. I try to get my mind off of this penitentiary stuff, try to get more free world, because after so long of how you have to live in there, you become programmed, and you don't want to go to the world like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Basically institutionalized, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So everything started, it didn't seem real, because my time in there, I felt like I wasn't ever going to go home. You know what I mean? I was doing a lot of stuff. I got caught with the phone, got more time.
Mm-hmm.
And like at some point, I was like, man, I ain't never going to go home. I done got some more time now.
Mm-hmm.
I got, on my mind, I had to do 14. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And ain't no telling what's going to happen from here to there. I'm mess around and get some more
stuff,
years.
Yeah.
Come in with a 10 and end up doing 25. You never know.
Man, wow. Yeah.
So it didn't feel real, because there was times where, like a year before that, I was supposed to go home and something happened, right? Long story, but some knives were involved. They were trying to kill me. I ended up putting them in a coma, and they took my parole because of that. Even though I was defending myself, they had it on camera and everything. That's just how they do it. And then when I fought it and beat the case, then they overturned everything, because I was already supposed to go home. And then they backdoor and gave me this release date. But that still took a whole year.
Yeah.
Because you got to go through the appeal process and all of that.
Yeah.
So after 5 years, I was supposed to go home again. So it's like you always going to go home, and then you don't go home. So it don't feel real. So it's time to go home. And I always told my family, look, I'm not going to be, because they're like, you don't seem happy. Like, they trying to buy me clothes. They trying to buy me shoes. I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, just wait. Just wait.
Yeah, because you never know.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be happy. It's not going to hit me until the day I step foot. So the day comes, right? And I'm waiting. So I done already found out that they come and get you at a certain time in the morning. By 7, you have to be up at the front, and so on, right? So I'm like, man, they ain't coming to get me yet. I'm ready. I done gave away all my stuff, all my food. Like, I'm homeless now. I'm a straight hobo in it. I done got friendly, and I've seen it done. People give their stuff away, give their food away, $200-$300 worth of food.
And then bam.
And your appliances, because all that costs money. Your fan, because it's hot. You got 2-3 fans, radios, hot pots to cook. You got a lot of stuff. And you give it away, and now what if you don't go home? And, they don't want to give you that stuff back sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting, and I'm like, man, what's going on? So I call the guard, right? They let us out for showers. I'm telling the guard, hey, man, I'm supposed to go home today. I show her my paper.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing. They haven't told me nothing. And there's people that's going to go home, and at the last minute, they tell them they canceled your release. We don't know why. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And there people be out there waiting. What's going on? Oh, it's canceled. For whatever reason, you got to call Huntsville and find out.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting, and I'm like, man, and I know, like, you never know why you been in there.
Yeah.
You done so much stuff in the world. Before that, it might come back and bite you.
Yeah.
There's people that do 10 years, get released, and then a cop be right there to pick them up for another case he did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And I done did so much bad stuff. I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get out or not. So they finally come and get me. Kevin Martinez, man, what are you doing here? Man, you supposed to have been out here 2 hours ago. Well, ain't nobody come get me. Come get me. You don't know it's time to go home. You supposed to go over here, push the button, and let them know, hey, I got to go. Here's my paper.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I didn't know. I just see people come get them.
Yeah.
So they're like, come on, you free. You free from this. I'm not even out the unit yet. They're like, you free right here.
They could have said, you missed the bus. There's another one next month. Good luck.
Yeah,
You
well,
can walk if you want. I'd be
well,
like,
my
yeah, I'll
girl,
walk.
I was out. I got released from Ellis unit.
Yeah.
And that's, where's it at? I don't even remember. Oh, Gatesville. It's in Gatesville, Texas.
Yeah.
So she drove all the way out there to pick me up. She like, nah, I ain't gonna let you go on a Greyhound. I'm coming to pick you up. So they take me to the front, and she brought me some clothes. I changed out to my clothes. They do your release paperwork. The warden is there and everything. But after all that, fast stuff you got to go through because it's all hitting you at one time. Sign here, sign here. You got to go parole here. Come on, we're going to put this monitor on you now. Boom, now they don't put me on the monitor. And look, on your way home, you can only make 2 stops. One for gas and one for the restroom. You know, it's like a 4-hour drive. So they're like, that's it. And we're following you. You stop anywhere else, you do anything else, we coming to get you. So I'm like, man, well, I can't even stop at a hotel? Nothing? Like, what? No, you got to go straight home.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, man, well, boom. And then, you know, they let you sit down right there for a little bit, and then that takes like another 2-hour process. So now they leave you alone. After everything's done, they leave you alone. They got to get your ID, make sure that this is who they're releasing, making sure they got the right person, because somebody else might walk out saying they're me.
Prince again, the whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there, and there's literally the door right there where you're gonna walk out, and the sun's bright. Like, it seemed like it's a beautiful day, even though it was super hot.
Yeah.
100 degrees probably.
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, it's a good weather.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and everything just starts hitting me like, man, I'm about to be released right there. Like, you go from being in here to the next day, now you're free.
Yeah, life changed completely.
Yeah, and my body starts feeling numb. Like,
yeah.
I start feeling overwhelmed. I start feeling full of something. I don't know what it is, but I just start feeling like.
Yeah.
And at that point, you just got to just go with it and just shut down, and like, you're in a daze.
Yeah.
12 years? That's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
I
Spent your
signed-
whole 20s
I
locked
signed
up.
October 21st, and I got released October 1st.
Wow.
So I was like 20 days short from an actual 12 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so the warning comes, and, you know, they search you one more time, I guess, so you won't take nothing home with you. But, I
Yeah.
mean, you do got people that do stuff like that. Have a cell phone, can't get rid of it, and take it home.
Mm-hmm.
And they catch them at the door, leaving with it like, what?
That's another charge.
That's another charge. You literally a foot away from going home. But hey,
That would
hey,
take a complete dumbass to
hey,
try
if
to
it
pull
happens,
somewhere.
it's a lot of dumbasses there.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Well, Kevin, man, I appreciate you coming in. It's been an interesting conversation, and hope you do well with the rest of your life. So what are your plans from here on out? Just going to work?
Man,
Keep moving forward?
I got a lot of plans right now.
Well, you got a fiance and a brand new baby, from what
Man,
I've heard.
Since I got out, I've been taking care of business. I've been in there 12 years preparing myself, like learning, studying, everything I needed to learn. I never had a driver's license, so now I got a driver's license.
Cool.
And I learned about that while I was in there. I never had no insurance, so I learned about that while I was in there. Now I got car insurance. Cops be right there next to me, and I'll be like, well, what you gonna do? I'm
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah.
But I done came out. I got me a good car, 2017. I got it with 50,000 miles. Brand new, damn near.
You working?
I'm working.
Yeah.
Thankfully, parole gave me a job. I didn't want it. I went in there doing everything in my power not to get hired, because I was trying to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, they ended up hiring me, and I'm like, what? And, man, it ended up being the best decision ever, because now I'm like one of the main dudes right there. One of the main, like, I'm valuable. They need me, you know.
Well, I
Now-
can tell you're smart and you can do whatever you want to, man. And
There you go.
I can congratulate you on going through all that. And after being living on the streets with your gangs stuff going on and overcoming that, I think it's a great story of redemption and great possibilities. And we're rooting for you on your journey, man.
Yep. There you go. All right. Got any closing remarks there?
I thought
Heart-mogging
that was a
stuff?
pretty good closing remark.
It
I
was
mean, what have
great.
I got to do?
It was great. I just didn't know if you had anything
Yeah.
else in the bucket. Anything coming up?
Kevin Martinez, we really appreciate you having on and coming on, and hope you can come back and check in with us.
Yeah, I come in. I got plenty of stories from prison.
We'll
Cool.
talk cars
All
or
right.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to, man.
And we'll
Yeah.
talk
Yeah, we can do
about the prisons, how bad they treat us, the guards,
Okay.
stuff like that, you know, whatever.
Sounds good.
I may not be able to say it on camera, but did you ever kick a guard's ass?
Oh, yeah, all the time. They'll fight you, too.
Yeah.
But half the time, they're the ones wanting to fight you. You're like, hey, man, hold on, calm down. You know, because, you know, you're in a lose-lose. Like, they got their buddies, they're all going to come.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
They're
locked up with you.
Okay,
and
I'll be back. And a lot of places, you better not win, because now the guards are going to jump you. Like, it's messed up in there.
All right.
Yeah.
And then they might turn around and like, oh, now you're not gonna eat. You might eat next week
Whoops.
sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna say they fed you and they never did. And what you gonna do? A lot of places don't have cameras.
He can file a lawsuit, right?
File a lawsuit, but hey, nobody cares. You're a criminal. You're in there. They just be like, yeah, okay, we'll take care of it in a few years.
Yeah.
You know, that process takes a long time.
Right. Well, you're doing great, man.
Yep.
And we're
Doing
rooting for
good.
you.
All right. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
Yeah, no
Thanks
problem.
for having me.
All right, man. All right, for Mark Hogan, I'm Hank Vatt. This is Hank's Think Tank, and we'll see you in the next one.